Hey everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be playing Dispute for the Accursed Tower and I'll be highlighting just how OP Tempest has been for this time. Let's go. Now I've been planning to make this video for some time and I'll be honest, the only reason I swapped my ult to Tempest from Necromancer was to actually be able to make this video with an opinion that is based on my own gameplay of this class. Now, do I enjoy playing Tempest? No, I really don't. As I've said previously in other videos, I feel like Tempest is like you're cheating. It's just too easy to play. You kind of just hit the buttons for the skills and go. Similar to my wizard farming build, except with Tempest you can use the same kind of builds in PvP, which is just absolutely wild to me. I pretty much just spam my skills with this class. Other than rolling surf, I don't pay attention to which buttons I'm pressing. I just press the buttons and manage to get some kills in, and that's what I mean with Tempest being OP. This shouldn't be happening really. Now that player I've just taken down is actually 4,000 resonance, and yes, they were low on life, but this character that I'm playing is literally 1,700 resonance, and I don't even have the most optimal gems for this character. So again, this is just highlighting how OP this class is. Now I may die a few times in this match, but what I'm looking at overall is the actual damage. As I said, my secondaries are low, my paragon level is low, my damage is low, but it's still enough to actually take down players in PvP. Now, I don't hate anyone that plays Tempest or anything like that. I don't have anything against people that are playing this class, but I honestly do feel like this class has been long overdue a nerf. And obviously the nerfs are coming in place in time for the new class that will land in game in a few weeks time. So I do understand why those nerfs are coming in place. The same thing's happening obviously with Barbarian and Crusader as well. Those classes are also getting some nerfs. And the other thing we need to consider is that yes, you can class some of these classes as a hybrid, but generally they're labeled as melee or ranged. Now, saying that, the classes that are labeled as melee, the reason why I said that that is what they're actually labeled as is due to what the damage reduction was originally in Battleground. So obviously recently we had damage reduction leveled out for all classes regardless of which kind of class you're playing, whether you're playing ranged or melee. And if you remember, the ranged classes actually finally got the same damage reduction as the melee classes. That means if your class was one of those classes that didn't recently get that change, your class is definitely labeled as melee. So as I said, yes, you can argue that some classes are hybrid, but you could argue that about any class. Wizard is meant to be ranged class, but you could argue that Wizard is also hybrid because some of the skills have absolute shit reach on them, whereas you've got some crazy amount of range, crazy amount of reach on melee classes and certain skills and essences. So yeah, any class can be classed as hybrid if you want to play it like that, but overall these classes are ultimately supposed to be melee, and that's why the balance is coming in place for some of their skills, which totally makes sense to me. Again, I have nothing against these classes or anything like that. On my alt character, I have played on a few different classes. I mainly stuck with Necromancer because I actually enjoy that the most other than Wizard, and I stuck with Tempest until I could get to Essence Mastery 4, as I mentioned, so that I could make this video. I will be swapping back to Necromancer soon because I'm really interested in finding those new essences for that class, and I also want to see what the balance is going to look like for Necromancer as well, because there's obviously some changes coming into place for that class also. But yeah, Tempest, I mean, we're due a new class soon, as I said, and the balance is coming in place in time for that, which always happens with these new classes. If you remember, the Blood Knight had a reign of terror for quite some time, but it was nowhere near as long as what Tempest has been. And a lot of people get frustrated with these nerfs, but I had a discussion in my main clan with some players this morning about different classes and why class nerfs happen. Me and GameZone discussed it on our video last week, and we've been saying the issue is that if everyone jumps ship to play the most OP class of the time, that's when these nerfs happen. That's when the class balance comes into place. If everyone's playing Barbarian, if everyone's playing Tempest, if everyone's playing Crusader, those classes are 100% going to get nerfed because it just causes such a shit show in PvP, especially in Battleground. So yeah, that's the reason why these changes come in place. If everyone suddenly swaps to Wizard, if everyone suddenly swaps to, I don't know, Demon Hunter or Blood Knight after these nerfs come into place, the same thing will eventually happen. Wizard had some really harsh nerfs over the last year and a half, And yeah, that's what kind of put Wizard in a pretty bad place in PvP. Originally, Wizard had quite high DPS, quite high damage in PvP, using several different builds, using builds that were much closer combat. A lot of you will remember that I had a melee Wiz build, which is why I referred to Wizard as also being a hybrid class, because you definitely can play that close combat if you want to. But overall, yeah, it's nothing like Tempest has been. Tempest has been so strong for so long, and I honestly don't think there's going to be that much of a difference with the nerfs that are coming in place. So it's going to be interesting to look at this and obviously play this character in the Accursed Tower dispute or in Shadow War next week. Now, we did lose this match that I filmed here. We were down 3 players, so the enemy team did have 3 players more than we did. But I was actually really happy to be able to film this video and highlight the point I've been trying to make all along about Tempest and this class overall. I did find Tempest, although I don't like it as much as Necromancer, it is kind of fun to play because it is fast and you feel kind of completely... what's it called? I can't even think of the word, but you have so much power with this class. Even though I've died several times in this battle, it doesn't really matter because I've got a really decent amount of kills. And it's not because of my skill at all. Like, I would say that I play this class really badly, but it's just because of what the class is like. The class is OP, the class is strong. As I said, I'm not the best player of this. I'm much better on Necromancer, even better on Wizard because I play that so much. This character I literally just play for Shadow War, for Accursed Tower if they need me for that, and for my raids each week, and that is it. And I use the same build for everything. As I said, using a PvE build in this instance, I shouldn't have been able to take down as many players as I did. But this was the overall result. Obviously, it was a loss, but as you can see, crazy amount of kills and a decent amount of assists here as well from this Tempest that I've been playing on. But yeah, my team did an amazing job considering we had 4 players. I thought it was 3 players. We had 4 players less than they did for this battle. So we actually did a really good job, and we at least gave them a bit of a fun fight for this match. But that is it from me for this video. I hope this makes sense to most of you, and I hope you found my opinion helpful on this. As I said, it is just my opinion. There's no like hard feelings towards anyone or any specific class, but I just feel that this kind of explains a little bit why this class is obviously getting some changes coming in place with the new update that is coming out very soon. So that is it from me. I hope you've enjoyed watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day. Official Diablo partner.